Hi, everyone. We have a special guest here with us today, JJ Sweeney. He's the founder and CEO of Paradigm Fitness Indonesia. He is the co-founder of Celebrity Fitness. He's a 30-plus year veteran of the fitness industry, and he's had several mentorships with the likes of David Weck, Steve Cotter, Peter Twist, Michol Dalcourt, and more. He's a master trainer for WeckMethod Qualification, which includes BOSU Elite, RMT clubs, RMT ropes, Alexander method of SMR, ViPR Pro, and BOSU. So we'll put JJ's extensive qualifications in the show notes. It's safe to say that he is a titan of the fitness industry in Asia. So we are super excited and honored to get to learn more about his journey to where he is today. So let's jump into it. Welcome, JJ.
Oh, welcome. Yeah, thanks so much. This is a great pleasure, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, so JJ, when did your fascination with fitness start, and when did you know you wanted fitness to be your career?
Yeah, well, luckily my parents got me into playing sports very, very early. I remember even at about 4 years of age playing soccer and playing tournaments and playing tennis, playing Gaelic football and basketball. So I've always done sports, you know, all the way through my teens. Did a lot of competitions, what we would call in Ireland Munster championships. I played in 2 All-Ireland finals, and yeah, I really thought my career would probably become a soccer player. I had trials for a couple of clubs in England, and that's where I thought I would go. But then I had a couple of injuries, and you know, different things happened in my life, and I came across this diploma in sports science, and it interests me because I wanted to learn more about my injury, and I also wanted to learn more about the human body, about performance, and like I've always been intrigued by our energy system and so forth. So then I got into that when I was 18, and that was a 3-year course. And from there I moved to New Zealand, and I spent time in Japan, Taiwan, Korea, and I've always worked in the fitness industry.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how have you seen the fitness industry change and evolve over the years?
Oh, it's changed so much. When I started out, it was very much, you know, getting into the bodybuilding, like we were doing it for that physique, you know, the aesthetic look. You got inspired, I guess, by people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, a lot of the movies, even people like Bruce Lee, and then there was Sylvester Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme. So, you know, you're watching all these movies, you're seeing these guys with incredible physiques. So that was a big thing for me, trying to, you know, imitate the look. And so, yeah, I started lifting weights when I was 15. And yeah, first was to build my body for sports. And then once I, you know, started to notice my body increasing in size, that's where, you know, I started to kind of think like that was what I wanted to do as well. I wanted to do some bodybuilding. And so it was very much the physique and the bodybuilding. And then as time has gone on, we saw that our body was getting tight, you know, especially through the chest. You know, a lot of people overtrain certain muscles, because they isolate like training chest on one day and then back on another and legs on another and so forth. And what was happening is a lot of people that would come into the gym, they would be very enthusiastic at the beginning of the week. You know, Monday is International Chest Day. You know, then then by the end of the week, it's getting, you know, maybe on the week, on Friday, it's arms. And, you know, they would lose days and maybe not train certain body parts like their back, or they might not train their legs. So you'd see these guys walking around with, you know, big chest muscles, great arms, no legs, and very poor back muscles. And, you know, that's kind of where the industry, you know, it's still a lot like that today. And, but, you know, over time, a lot of people did start to wake up and did start to notice. And then there was new people coming into fitness that came in with a different mindset. They were coming in at, you know, seeing injuries, seeing muscle imbalances, seeing the dysfunction in the body. And then it started to open up. Like people like David Weck woke us up when he created the BOSU. When the physio ball was pretty much the first tool that I started to train with. I was very fortunate to do Paul Chek work. I did level 1 and level 2 with Paul Chek because he was in New Zealand when I was there, and I got to study a lot of his philosophies. And that really started to open up my mind. I remember one of his lectures, he said to the audience that within about 15 to 20 years, fitness equipment as we know it today will be obsolete. And I was shocked. I'm like, are you serious? Like, I couldn't grasp it at all because I love lifting weights. I love training. And I'm thinking like, you know, I don't know if that's the truth. But then over time, well, within a couple of years, I started to really notice in my body, like, and really think about what he was saying. And there was niggles, there was injuries, and I wasn't really training my body the way that an athlete would train their body. And yeah, so as time went on, when the BOSU came, you start to see people moving into training balance. They were starting to train their core more. Then when the TRX came, you know, that was the next wave, and it was all core all the time. Then there was the ViPR, and now it's the ViPR Pro. But you know, the ViPR was a great tool because until then, we really didn't have a way to train loaded movement, right? And the ViPR has helped us do that. And yeah, then there was other tools like, of course, medicine balls, and you know, the Dynamax medicine ball is a fantastic tool to help us train power. So, you know, the whole industry has completely changed. You know, if you look back at things, if it was an athlete that had inspired us, you know, years back when it was Arnold and Schwarzenegger and some of these guys, the fitness industry would be completely different today. You know, the gyms as we know them, there wouldn't be any fitness equipment like those strength machines. People sit on them and they're just pushing. You're stuck. You're limited, and you're targeting certain muscle groups, but it's that outer layer, the superficial muscle. We're not really getting deep into specific muscles that are important for our posture, that are important for the balance of the muscles, for the integration of the muscles. And today we know so much more about the body. Like before we would be thinking about training muscle. Today we're very much focused on training movement and thinking about our fascia, the fascia lines.
Yeah.
And, you know, because often where you have an injury, you know, you think it's in your shoulder, but it might be in in the opposite ankle or in your hip, you know, just because of the line of fashion where it meets. And yes, you know, like the industry that I knew it to be has become very holistic. You know, there's a lot more great information out there about, you know, what to eat, how to eat, you know, and you know, there's thousands of different ways to do it. So, you know, there's no one way to train, there's no one way to eat. And so, yeah, the industry has changed so much. And, yeah, you know, definitely I can see it even going to a whole nother level over the next 5 to 10 years.
Right.
So, like, what are some of the ways like people can incorporate functional fitness at home right now, like given the circumstances?
Yeah, you have to be creative, and there's a lot of great content online, a lot of free content, and you know, like you don't really need to invest in equipment if you know, if that's your thing. Like, you can fill up water bottles. You know, you could fill up. I'll just let my cat in. You can pick up like weights that you might have around your house. You know, even if someone had stones outside, they'd be able to pick them up and move them around. I've seen people using wine bottles to do curls and do shoulder presses, and you know, you have that. If you have like a staircase and there's the baluster, you could wrap a towel or a sheet around and just pull yourself and do rows. You could, of course, there's tons of body weighting that you can do. And, you know, like the important thing is to do the basics. And that's to, you know, to squat, to lunge, to push, to pull, and to rotate. All right. You know, it really comes down to, it's that simple. And like, if you don't have weights that you can put on your body, you can do extra repetition and make it a cardio session. And, you know, like there's ways to do it where it's a circuit line, or you just do one big set, like doing 100 squats, body weight, you know, getting down, doing say 5 to 10 strong push-ups, you know, putting a rope around something and pulling your body towards yourself, and you angle your body similar to a TRX, and you do say 5 to 10 of those. Now you go and you do a walking lunge, or you do a forward lunge or a reverse lunge, and you can do say a total of 10, alternating your feet. Now you can go down into a plank, and you can do like a side plank and bring your arm. You could also grab something, hold something as you're doing that for more resistance. You can do it on your forearm, having a towel to protect you from the floor, and you can do alternating of those. And then you go back and now you do, instead of 100 squats, maybe you do 50. And then you do that whole routine again. And then you go back to the squat and you do maybe 30 reps, and you do that whole routine again. If you do that 3 times a week, you're getting great cardio, you're getting strength, you're training your entire body, and you know, you just need to be motivated. You know, that's the key thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So for those who don't really understand what functional fitness means, can you share a little more about what it is and how it's different from the traditional approach?
Okay, so with right, like the thing that I always try to explain to people, you know, we sit to commute, we sit at work, we sit to watch TV, even we sit to eat. And when you go to the gym, why would you sit on machines? Right? You know, that's, and when you push a machine, when you push that weight, you're really only targeting the muscle, which is that superficial muscle, and you're really only working strength. You're not challenging your core, you're not improving your balance, you're not improving your mobility, a little bit on the stability, but it can throw things off a lot if you're overworking certain muscle groups, and there's no coordination, and so on and so on. So then when you go to the gym, we have to find ways of standing. So one of the key things is to stand up. So even if I'm actually going to do a lat pull down, I like to stand back from it and actually pull it down while I'm in a split stance. And then after maybe 5 reps, I'll switch my feet and I'll continue to pull to get, say, 10 repetitions. But what's that's doing, it's releasing my hip. It's strengthening my core. It's making me really challenging my stability. And now if I move on to, say, one of those cable machines where you can unplug and move it up and down, I can then maybe step away from it. If I wanted to, I could stand on a BOSU and get the rows and pull it towards me. It'll challenge my balance. And I can get down close to almost a squat position where it's really going to target my legs. But as I'm pulling, now I'm hitting my back. I'm using all my core muscles. So the great thing about functional training, you're targeting your whole body at every one exercise. And you can switch things up a little bit, where if you stand on a BOSU or you're using, say, a ViPR, you're moving from, say, a BOSU where there's a big balance challenge, whereas when you pick up a ViPR, now you have loaded movement training and you're integrating from the foot all the way through to the fingertip. So every muscle in your body has to engage, and that creates a linkage of strength throughout the body. And one thing that we know now is if you think about a farmer, they have incredible strength. And a lot of their movement is when they pick something up, they're moving it away from their body. And what happens is when you pick up a dumbbell and you curl it into your body, you get this, you're building proteins in the muscle, and you're getting this contractile strength, which tightens the muscle and firms the muscle. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so it's picking up proteins, right? But when you move something away from you and you're holding it out from you, now those muscle fibers are stretched, and the actin and myosin filaments are really being challenged, and they're they're being stretched and stressed in that stretched position. So now what happens is the body starts to create collagen, and collagen is a much stronger tissue. Mm-hmm. And that's where people that train with a ViPR, that emulates like a farmer's movement, because a farmer will never do the same repetition twice, right? Every time they move things around, nothing that they do is the same movement, right? It does, yeah. Whereas when we lift dumbbells, you're doing 10 of this and 10 of this. It's really interesting, and And then, like, now we can see that people's body is way more healthy, way more strong. And when you pick up a ViPR and you move around with a ViPR, you're improving your coordination, your balance, you're training your core, you're training mobility and stability, and you're getting your whole body to integrate, like I spoke about, from the feet all the way up into the fingertip. And that's making you more smart as well, right? Because like they've put EMS machines on the muscle, and they've done, they've put like those receptor on the brain to figure out the nerve response. And when you pick up a dumbbell and you use it, it's very small amount of response. But when you're using functional training or balance, your whole brain lights up, it's on fire, right? And that's what you'll see too. When people first do a lot of this type of training, they'll sweat so much. And they sweat so much is because, yes, all your muscle in your body is working, but your nervous system is switched on. And that's why people will sweat. When people go to the gym and they do their normal routine, their body is used to it, and they won't get to sweat that much because the nervous system knows already what it's going to do, and you're not really taxing the nervous system the same way. Yeah. I hope that kind of helps to answer it.
Yeah, no, totally. Because, when we were teaching, I actually went to one of these workshops, and over there, they were talking about how children that do monkey bars and children that have more crawling time when they're little, because people sometimes put kids in the walkers and things like that. They said that that's actually not good, because when children have this crawling time, that actually develops their brain and monkey bars for mathematics.
Yes.
So it's really important for them to have those movements, which is sort of, actually.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you do notice with kids as well, they have this incredible strong grip, right? They'll grab your hand and you're like, it's almost hard to get away from them, right? But as we grow older, like you'll notice with a lot of people, they lose their great strength. And that's because, of course, they're not doing any exercise. And this is related to our longevity. And they say that a weak grip, you will die faster. Yeah, it's one of the things. Another one is your hip mobility. Those two factors are very important. So like hanging to an overhead bar is very important. So everyone that comes into our club, I always promote, hang from the bar, do it 10 times for 30 seconds, and build up your endurance. And we have a test where we have this parameter health analysis. And one of the tests is how long can you hold on to the bar? And you'd be surprised. Some people can only do it for about 20 seconds and they're in agony. Yeah. And then you should be able to grip the bar and hold it and hold your whole body with one arm. But very, very few people can do this. And of course, if you train it, it will happen. But it's not even your grip. It's actually because all the shoulder is unstable. And where people get pain is inside the shoulder, because a lot of their exercise that they've done for years and years has trained imbalances inside the shoulder. And so certain muscles are not at the right balance to be able to grip and connect. Yeah.
And as you grow older, it's like it doesn't even occur to you to hang on to something or train that.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It's the most important thing for your health. is it will bulletproof your shoulders, because what will happen, your shoulders will stretch and all those muscles will start to balance out. And the shoulder is a very complex joint, right? And it's one of the ones that's easy to injure. And a lot of it is because of the imbalances that people have and the way that they train.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
So what do you see as the future of fitness?
I see, well, this pandemic has, it's kind of thrown a huge stone into the, into every thing. So I see the future being, say, over the next year, a lot of people are going to try to go online right now. And, there'll be a few people will have success with this, but a lot of people will probably end up maybe losing a lot of money. One of the things because of course it's one of the first things that I thought about years and years ago. I was thinking like to do online and to be on YouTube, but there's so many people doing it already, and a lot of the top people in our industry have tried it, and they've tried to charge for it, and they haven't been successful. And so some of the coaches that I know and some of the people that have mentored me that are really excellent at coaching, and they're excellent instructors and teachers and so forth, and they weren't able to get it to a point where they were able to have a decent income, and then it kind of fell away and they lost interest and it didn't happen. But now there is that opportunity, because a lot more people won't go to the gym. I could see I can see when we reopen up our clubs that what will happen is, that the hardcore 10% are coming back no matter what. Like they're just like, I need my workout, I need my fix, and they'll be delighted. So, nothing will stop them. And then there'll be maybe about another 40 to 50% that will come back and test the waters and see, are these clubs clean? Are they practicing social distancing? And what is the offer? Like, are they cleaning all the equipment, and so forth and so forth. I'm sure a lot of people will come in and wear rubber gloves, they'll wear the mask, they'll do all that, and that's great. I can see that happening. So it depends on business owners too, on what they're going to do. So I think over the next year and a half, we're going to see that whole transition. And then once people, get comfortable with this situation, it all kind of falls away. I think things will get back to normal, and the online business will actually then help, because now people, they've been working out, they'll want to come in and try a gym. It's always great when you're exercising around other people. If you look at like how many times, or how many people have bought home equipment and never used it, right? They see a magazine, a TV program, a movie, and they're like, oh, if I buy this, I'm gonna get in this shape and I'll stick to it. And they do it for a little bit, and then it gets pushed under the bed, or it gets put in some cabinet, and you never see it again, and they'll throw it out eventually, and they'll always come back to the gym, because it's challenging to stay motivated for the best of people. I've been in this industry, quite a long time, and I've seen like only a handful of people who are truly dedicated and self-motivated. And it's a tiny percent of people. And if you notice, people in our industry, what I notice, the members will come and they'll be very motivated for a period of time, the longest being about 3 months, and then they'll drop away. You won't see them for a couple of months. They might come back. It might take them 6 months to come back. And once they do come back, they've got that same motivation again. And that kind of just goes on. And they end up either completely dropping out, trying something else, or they will just stop and think, you know, what am I doing this for? This is ridiculous, and not exercise anymore. You know, you know that it's very interesting. But you know, saying all that, like that's one end of it. So the online, you know, people's fear of coming back into the clubs. I do think right now that there will be a lot of people coming up with great ideas, and that we're going to see innovation for sure. Like, and that's in every single industry, because people right now, they're sitting at home and they're trying to think, you know, how can I exercise, you know, and they're going to make some innovation. It might be a piece of equipment, and you're going to see a lot of that coming out of as well. And there'll be a few pieces of equipment, like there'll be thousands and thousands of ideas, but there'll be a few pieces that will actually make it. So, you know, look forward to something new. For sure, something's going to come out of this. There's a lot of smart people around the world, and they're going to figure out something, you know, quite special. And I definitely see our industry growing into multiple different ways. And if we look at, you know, where it is at the moment, you know, it used to be big box gyms, and over time, you know, these PT studios started to open. Then there was boutiques. The boutiques, you know, you get some great ones, and then you get ones that, you know, they're people who set up the business and they're so enthusiastic for a certain period of time, and then after 6 months they're like, oh, this is hard work. And, you know, over time they, you know, then they make some excuse a year or two later, and they're like, you know, they don't want to do it anymore. They get rid of it and they sell it off, you know. So I think that's going to continue. And yeah, like if we look at where CrossFit was, you know, when it started and it became so big, and now it's kind of dying. Like it's pretty much dead in the US. And it never, like where I live is Jakarta, Indonesia. It's never really taken off here like it has in other places. But then, you know, we do see some we'll say offset things like F45 and things like that. They're more functional training, where it still has a lot of the programming, we'll say, from something like CrossFit. Because CrossFit, we were doing CrossFit when I started in the industry. It was one of the first programs that I used to teach. It's basically circuit training and great programming. But of course, you didn't do those big Olympic lifts for reps and deadlifts for reps, you know, so that side of it. But, you know, when I did start, circuit training was a huge trend when I got into the industry. And I used to teach, like back in '85, I had, I used to have a class in Christchurch, New Zealand, and there'd be 120 people in my circuit class.
Wow.
And yeah, And it was, we'd have a live DJ sometimes, we'd have karaoke nights. So when you got to a station, you'd have to sing, so, there was a lot of things, like every couple of weeks you had to wear some crazy wig and, some wild outfit. And, there was, all of that happening. So like getting back to it is, I definitely think functional training will go on, and it will be one of the key things, because we always have to keep in mind that a functional body is healthy and strong. Mm-hmm. And, there'll be times where people will get into the physical side. They'll want to get, that aesthetic look. But then, like, it takes so much work to maintain it and to keep it. And after a while, they'll start to feel aches and pains. And then they'll go back and they'll think, you know what? I just want to keep my body lean, want to keep my body strong and healthy and moving well. So I think functional fitness will always be strong, but I do see the wellness side, more and more is going to combine. Fitness is going to become more of a combination of things, where you will want to have sessions of functional training. You'll have sessions of, say, strength training. And then you'll have sessions of recovery. And, yes, we want to do exercise, but we will be doing a lot more exercise and doing things like self-myofascial release, mobility work, working on the feet, doing barefoot training is very, very important. Because when you got your feet right, it can change how every bone and every joint works. And when your feet are right, your hips are right. When your hips are right, your lower back, your thoracic spine is right. When your thoracic spine has the right mobility, your shoulders, your neck, all those aches and pains start to disappear. And my wife, Michol, she has done a lot of study in breath work, in sound healing. And, she teaches yoga and Pilates, but, she's like myself, she's been in the industry a long time and started out being body combat instructor, body pump, and doing other types of sculpt and physio ball workouts and different things like this. But there is a time where your body starts to feel the aches and pains, and you do start to move towards that wellness. And I think people are smarter today because they've seen how people are, and there is a lot of great people that are now banging on the drum and trying to motivate people to do wellness type classes earlier rather than later. Mm-hmm. And hopefully we see people mixing those two together, and doing 2 or 3 days of strength and functional training, but also doing at least 1 and hopefully 2 days of that recovery and that inner work as well. Yeah.
Right. That's just amazing. I actually wanted to also ask you about celebrity fitness. So,
right.
Where did that concept come from, and what was your journey like seeing that grow into one of the biggest brands in Southeast Asia?
Yeah, I used to work in Japan, and I worked in Hilton, and then I moved to Taiwan. And because I worked in Hilton, the clubs that I worked in, they were very focused on service They were very focused on the cleanliness. It wasn't so much about the entertainment and that. And like I used to kind of look at another company called California Fitness that started in Hong Kong, and they were doing the entertainment part of it. And I used to see some magazines, and I just think, wow, look at this company. It's so cool, right? So then I got the opportunity. I moved to Taiwan, and I started to work with California Fitness. And because of my passion, enthusiasm for the entertainment, and I think a lot of people who work in the fitness, industry are, they have big charisma, and they're flamboyant, and they love the passion and the energy, and they just like, wow, you hear a great song and you're up on stage and you're just like, let's go, and you're loving that side of it. Michol, maybe, yeah. Our cats are going crazy over here. So with all that, looking at the great things in California Fitness, the great things that I was able to bring all the way up until that point, because I'd worked I'd managed clubs, I was a personal trainer, I was a group fitness instructor, I'd worked the back office, I'd worked operations, and getting with California Fitness, I got to learn how to sell. And they were very aggressive in selling. And, that was something where I didn't like selling, but I started to understand that it's very important, because without sales, you don't have a club, So then when we got to the opportunity to start Celebrity Fitness, like, first of all, we approached California Fitness to move to Indonesia and to Malaysia and to open clubs. And they said, well, we're not ready to expand at the moment. And then myself, John Franklin, Mike Anderson, and Michol, we decided to come, and we talked to a couple of different people. We found an investor. And in the beginning, it was a struggle, because no one wanted us. All the different buildings that we approached, they all said, we want a bank. We're not, they didn't understand what we wanted to do and all that. And then we were very fortunate to find an entertainment mall. It was part of Plaza Indonesia, which is the biggest and most popular mall at that time in all of Indonesia. Mm-hmm. And we convinced them. And once we opened it, we wanted to bring all the great things from California Fitness, but we wanted to drop the things that we didn't like. And so we came in with this entertainment, this passion, this enthusiasm, this, and people in Indonesia were fantastic, because often when you go to a new country, you come in with certain things, and they don't want to change, and they don't want to follow. And we had some resistance in the beginning, but then with a conversation of like, this is our company culture. We understand your country culture, but our company culture is very important. And if it's not for you, then you should go somewhere else. And so the people there, stayed on and fought and actually made our culture even greater than what we wanted it to be. And Indonesia just took off, and it was just the most exciting time of my life. Like the energy, the passion. We were putting on incredible events. We were putting on a lot of special classes. We actually brought instructors from Brazil, from Spain, from Italy, even a few from New Zealand, Australia, from the US. So we had like a lot of culture as well, inside the company. And, when they're like, when people got on stage, we used to say it's a performance. You're not teaching a class, you're performing. So yes, they had to know the choreography and have great music and have that, you know, engagement, but you had to perform like you were basically a rock star, or, you know, something like this when you were up on stage. And they did, you know, and then the locals started to change and, you know, and grow. And yeah, because like Michol had so much challenge in the beginning trying to get the locals to understand the energy and the way to teach. And it took years and years, but we got there. And like once you had a few great clubs, it was so much easier then to take people from those clubs to send them out. And they were just kind of copying and pasting. And yeah, it became magical. You know, it's one of the best fitness companies that I've ever seen. And yeah, it was an incredible experience, yes.
That's amazing. I have been to so many celebrity fitness classes, and you are right about energy. It is so high. It's like they're literally dancing.
Right, right.
And the music is so amazing. So yes, definitely.
Yes, yes, yeah, absolutely. And I really believe now in Paradigm, we've taken it to a whole nother level. Like our Paradigm Club, it's like something beyond just because we, like the best instructors in celebrity, the minute we left, they wanted to follow us over. And we were like, no, 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 you should stay, you should stay. And some were just like, no, the soul is gone now. You know, the passion and energy is different. And like what we've been able to achieve, you know, since we opened Paradigm, like our dance classes can have, you know, 70, 80 people in a class. And we have a stage that can fit 6 instructors. You know, we have this amazing LED screen behind, and the room is 300 square meters. So even with that amount of people, you still have so much space. And then we have a live DJ at least once a week, and we're able to, you know, change all the lighting. So when you're in the room and, you know, and you're in that atmosphere, it's incredible. We've had live bands on stage. And so, yeah, we've taken it to a whole nother level. We've been able to partner with a lot of great companies, you know, Guest and CK, Emporia Marni, like so many great companies, Mercedes and so forth. So we'll put on like these special events, or they will launch products in our club. And like yeah, it's definitely a whole nother level.
Yeah, when I came to Paradigm Fitness, I know like you showed us the whole gym. I was amazed. Like there are no gym machines. There's none of those things. And the approach is completely different, isn't it?
Completely different. Yeah. Yeah, this is my dream. Like when we started Celebrity Fitness, I had the dream of having, you know, no equipment and having movement as, you know, the gym. And my partners were like, JJ, people aren't ready for this. You know, there's no way. And that was in 2003. So I've been waiting for this, you know, moment, this opportunity. And like when you walk into Paradigm, you feel it's a place where you train. And if our members, like they are so like into it and so dedicated, and you won't see people playing on their phones, and there's no people watching in our club. It's, you know, and you can see like people are very, very dedicated to their food, to their, to everything. Like, and what I've noticed, we have this beautiful calisthenic rig, and people thought in the beginning it was a big risk to have it, and I thought, well, if it doesn't work, we can try something else, but let's try, So we have it, or we put it in the club, and it's been one of the most popular classes. Like they could be 20 people in a class, and they're all doing pull-ups, dips, push-ups, and we've had 2 very good competitions. So we've invited people from outside, and you'll see some of the best in calisthenics coming in and doing just incredible routines where they're doing all the gymnastics work on it. They're swinging and doing what they call freestyle calisthenics. And what I've noticed is now members actually have figured out a routine, by themselves. They've either done personal training with one of our coaches, or they've come in and they will dedicate themselves to training a muscle up, or training a planche, or a back lever, or some of these very advanced movements, and they're able to get them done within a couple of months. And then you'll see like other members going like, oh my God, like you're able to do that? Okay, I'm gonna try. And there's this amazing camaraderie of, like if you can do it, I can do it, and people will just come around and watch, other people trying to perform these great moves. And so it's so cool. Like for that piece, it would have cost the same as 25 pieces of equipment.
Wow.
Right. You're right. Yeah. So it's not cheap to put these things in. Like these things are expensive, and then it takes a big space to have it. So you could have had 25 pieces of equipment at the same cost in a probably a bit bigger space, or you put in the calisthenic rig. And when we put in the calisthenic rig, now there's so many people hanging out, training with it. If we had put strength machines, people would sit on them. They'd be just hanging out, playing with their phones, looking around. Now they'll do a set, back to their phone, they'll wait 5 minutes, do a set. It's completely like what are you doing, right? Like, are you going to focus on your workout or not? Like I didn't put any TVs on our treadmills. I didn't even want to put treadmills in the beginning, but you kind of have to in Jakarta. It's such a busy place, and there's pollution outside. So, people want to walk and want to run, but I didn't put any TVs on the treadmill because I want people to focus on their body. If you put a TV, they're watching a movie, and their mind goes off to like, should I get my hair done on Saturday? And, what movie will I go to? And, who am I going to catch up with? And, their mind is not in their body. It's not, they're just, they're off somewhere else, so that mindfulness is learned, doing your exercise, when you grab a bar and you pull your body, and how you connect your body, and, and getting that feeling inside you, that all that starts to build up confidence and, this inner strength, this inner belief. Like, and when you can do, that one rep, you're like, oh, I can do one more. I can do one more. And it does change the whole mentality of the club. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, that's just amazing.
And that is so different from the regular, what people are used to.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, it is very different. There's some great companies out there doing some great things, and they do probably have a similar thing to what we have. But then there's a lot that are just like they just get a big box and just fill it up with equipment, and people come along. There's no real great programs to follow. From the day I left Celebrity until now, they haven't come out with any new programs. All the programs were done, like things like floating yoga, Fast Fit, Peloton, what else? Saltar, all these programs, race, they were all done with myself and Michol. And from the day we left until now, there's nothing new. Even the program that they have, it's called Playground. It's kind of done in their movement training zone, was developed by us. So, it's like there's no innovation anymore. It's just maintain things, but like that would kill me if I have to just maintain,
Yeah.
I dread that word, Yeah.
Yeah, for me as well, ever since like for a long time, I've always told Deep as well that, I don't like strength training. I don't like working with weights. And that's because every time we would go to the gym, we'll sit on these machines and it was so boring. Like at the end of that 1 hour or 1.5 hour, if you're taking longer breaks, I was bored and ready to sleep, and it was not exciting at all. And I was like, I don't really, because growing up I was a gymnast, and that stuff is fun for me. And I always see fitness as fun. Like it's got to be fun. It just can't be like these 10 reps that I'm doing, and then I'm waiting and I'm doing it again. It's so boring.
Yeah, so boring. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like in the beginning, I had so much focus. It was okay for, the first couple of years. But then once I got to open my mind with people like Paul Chek and David Weck and, some of these great, inventors and creators, Michol Dalcourt, another person, Peter Twist, like these guys, like they've trained athletes all their lives. And then they came out with products and they came out with training methodologies that really just influenced my mind. And that's where I am today. Now I try to encourage all the people that I meet to mix it up, Like I love barbells and dumbbells, and I will continue to train with those. But there's so much more to do, and yes, you're right. Like, some people come to me and they say, well, I don't like, going to gyms, and I don't like this. And I said, what do you like? I said, do you like playing tennis, basketball, swimming, walking? Do that, like you don't need to go to the gym. Like, yes, I would love to see people, lifting weights and making their body strong, but if they don't enjoy it, definitely don't do it. It's, you only do things you love to do. If you love to dance, you should dance,
Yeah.
Mm.
So true.
Yeah.
And I feel like with functional training, like we started doing that like a few months ago. And since we started it, we just found like, just like you said, actually training your whole body. And we found that we were not getting tired. We were able to literally go, to the classes almost every day. And we were not getting super tired. And there's no like, today's the leg day or the arm day or, separated things. I think our like fitness levels just gone through the roof since we started.
Right.
And
Well, what's happening? Your whole body is freeing up, and the energy is incredible because you get so much blood flow, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge thing right there, and it's affecting your hormones. There's so many things going on in the body, and when you move your body and you free up your body, your hips get more free, and so even the chakra in your body, all these energy systems they all change. You know, it's all related. You know, yeah. Like I've you know, been around David Weck. You know, he's done a lot of study in the meridians of the body, and you know, I haven't done so much myself, but I'm learning from him. And like all these different energy systems that we have, you know, they all get woken up. And then of course it's your nervous system as well, right? Like one thing I noticed a long time ago, I was teaching a course, it was a video, and we had this camera crew, and we were having the camera crew for about, it was like 12 hours, and we went over time, and it ended up being about 18 hours. And I was just exhausted. I couldn't remember the lines, couldn't remember things. And I ended up standing on a BOSU for about 5 minutes, and I noticed my brain woke up, and I became so alert and sharp. And it felt like I had a new, you know, release of energy. And I finished like better than when I started. So like doing a little bit of balance training is going to wake up your brain very quickly. Yeah. Yeah.
That's such a good tip. If you're feeling tired, stand on
just stand on a BOSU and you'll be shocked. It's better than a cup of coffee. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
So JJ, where can people find you so they can learn more from you?
Yeah, so at the moment, it's Paradigm Fitness Indonesia. And we're on Instagram. We have a website, of course, Facebook and YouTube. And then I have another company we've started, but we're still working on a lot of the details. And that's called Indonesia Fitness Academy. And we're on Instagram, on Facebook, and not so much on YouTube yet, but mostly on Instagram. But that's a company that's very focused on education. So a lot of the international courses like ViPR Pro, WeckMethod, Twist Sports Conditioning, IKFF, BOSU, TRX. If someone wanted to become certified, we can help certify them. And then also we also have national qualifications. We have a PT certification, a PT diploma. We have a group fitness course, and then we have a calisthenics course. We also have the we have a number of different things going there, and so I'm excited about getting that growing more, and possibly having our own facility down the line for this. Once things gets back to normal, to have an area, because that's my focus on this will be to do some online education as well. Because people, it's interesting, they have reached out to me a lot, how to learn right now and how to to get certified and things. And it's too bad we hadn't it set up before now. But I definitely going forward there'll be a lot more online, but who knows it'll be successful or not. So those are the two things that we're doing at the moment. So it's Paradigm Fitness Indonesia and then Indonesia Fitness Academy. And so we have a website for both of those, and very strong on Instagram, Facebook. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll make sure I'll get the links for the websites and your Instagram, and I'll put that in the show notes. So
great.
You can reach you.
Yeah.
Well, it's been
awesome.
Absolutely amazing having you here, and we got to learn so much.
Well, I hope so. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
thank you so much for taking the time. And, you know, we know you're super busy. So this has been awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks, JJ.
Great. Take care. All the best.